where you at, who you with. You ain't really about this, don't talk about it. Really on the move, on the map, never slip. Keep your hands to your lips, don't talk about it. Real eyes.
Now guys, I want to explain something to you. The reason we are doing this in the first place is to help you, to make you look yourself for areas that you can put stashes. You don't have to build a base, you can have just stashes all over the place. Now I suggest going to the forest if you're going to put a flag up, just so that it's well hidden, the flag. But honestly, there is no limit to where you can put stuff, guys. Be creative, try stuff out. Try it on servers you're not going to play on, just to see if things get found. Try it to see how long things stay spawned in for, just so you know how long you've got to go back and interact with that stash, because that's really important. And then focus around the area you're based at, if that's the case. You've got a stash to come back to, in case you get raided and killed, so you can go back, grab a plate carrier out of a sea chest or a gun, and go back and help defend your base. But anyway, I'm going to carry on my adventure. I've already got half of the next episode of this done, because I was picking from about 50 locations that I've been trialing. And I've got a bunch more locations to work out for you guys, but a couple of them need testing out a little bit longer before I come forward with a video to say these have lasted me a wipe. Like I said, every single item and place and placement I've shown you in this video has been tried and tested for at least one wipe, in the most cases 2 or 3 wipes since the last video. And that's about the timescale we're looking at for part 3 of this, guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Do me a favour, leave a comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let me know your secret stash locations, and I might feature one in a video. Alright, number 1, we're in Robo, like we said. So I've got a couple of good places here that I like. Robo, guys, if you didn't know, is in the north of the map. I did used to put a crate underneath here, but it didn't really work and it got found a few times. So I decided to change things up just a little bit. And I've had a stash here for 2 wipes. Now, everything I do here, I keep getting asked, like, why haven't you done a follow-up? Why haven't you done a follow-up? Now, everything that I use here for these videos, just so you guys know and are aware, I literally use in-game. Because there's no point in me making suggestions to people for stash places if I physically haven't used it in-game and proved it's a worthy place to put stuff. Now, anyway, as we can see from here, we're at Robo, we're at the lake. Now, no one's got any reasons, other than coming here maybe, this little section here, no one's got any reason to fish from here or anywhere else. Maybe you could fish from here. No one's going to swim across this lake. No, there's no reason whatsoever for anyone to come near this lake. The closest you might get is running around and checking the shed here. That's a possibility, and that's it. Now, there's 2 around Robo which have been tried and tested. Now, right here, if you come to the edge of the wall, right here, come along the wall and then open your inventory, you'll see we have a barrel and we have 2 wooden crates. The barrel's here, which is great. Can't really see it. Once you take 2 steps back, you can't see it. But yeah, you've got a barrel and you've got wooden crates. There should be 3 wooden crates here, actually. There you go. 3 wooden crates and a barrel. Happy days. And once you've stepped more than 2 foot back, you're not really going to notice. Even from up here, you'd have to be specifically, if you were walking on this wall, just a look down. I can't even see them, guys. Like, literally, I've just walked off the wall and I cannot see them. The reflections in the grass there work really well, and these are things you need to look for. Where you've got plain water, you can normally see storage items, but where you've got this grass here as well, and you've got subtle reflections, it doesn't really work, and you cannot see these barrels. You cannot see the barrel, you cannot see the crates. You can just here, if you look directly down, zoomed in, but because you've got these plants, it kind of breaks it up, disrupts it, you can't see it, and you'd have to be, like the whole of Chernaroos, you'd have to be insane if you walked to this exact spot and zoomed in there and happened to notice, or even running by, happened to notice, even if you were in third person, Oh, you might see it, I guess, if you're in third person. But like I said, guys, I have tried and tested every single location that I'm giving you guys. So this is number one. Number one is Robo. It's by this wall. If you guys don't know the map, I suggest you get I Survive, and that will help you. But this is my number one location. Number two is really close. So number two, we are going to just go for a jog. Basically, whenever I spawn, if I'm going to spawn as a freshie, I'm either going Chernigorsk, as in Gennaro City, that's where I'm going to go, or I'm going to go Berazino and then loot the whole of Berazino, including industrial, everything into the inland, and we're going to go from there. Normally, by the time we get up to Robo, after we've hit the 2 milli-cents, we will have a box of nails or something, and we'll have an opportunity to make some storage. And we come to location number 2, which is just here. If you see the crossroads here, really weird sort of little collection of roads and railway lines. This is where one of the trains is supposed to spawn, but I've never seen a train here ever. And we come to this little pond. This is my next safe storage area, number 2 on the map, the secret stashes. And we are in this pond, and if I open my inventory, you will see we have 3 wooden crates here. Now, I did this on Terminus, and I did this on 28 days later, and storage worked here. The problem with 28 days later was you had to just drop. The same with Terminus, you had to just drop. And you've only got 7 days. So this particular one here, the same as Robo, I would suggest early game. So when you get into the game, you're doing that first day's looting, your inventory's absolutely rammed, you've got building supplies and stuff, you haven't quite got a base store up yet, you want to stash it up while you're doing it. This is what you do. You drop your storage here, you drop all your gear here. You've generally got every server you play 7 days. So you've just bought yourself a respite for 7 days with these crates. And the chances of anyone finding these? Pretty rare. Someone may stop them, you can see running around it. But like I said, I've had this on 2 wipes. They actually despawned after day 7 on 28 days, which I would expect it to do. And Terminus, they lasted 9 days. So that's 2 tests I've carried out, and it worked pretty well. And neither were found, and I still had the items. And I actually had a heavy on 28 days inside one of these crates, and it never disappeared. Welcome to Samara Grab. We are there at sunset. We made it, the end of the day, yay! Now this place I absolutely love, guys. I love Samara Grab. I think it's one of the nicest places to hang out, to base, to play on, and there's a lot of places you can stash gear on. This is pretty central to the map. We're in a good place. It's busy. There's a lot of bases here on most servers. There's a lot of fighting here because of airdrops, King of the Hills, etc., which can appear here. And just outside Severograd, we're currently in game here. So I'm going to insert a clip from the game where I'm currently playing on a wipe to show you where this next location is. Just inland from Severograd, you've got the quarry. Quarry's got a bunch of places, but one particular place is pretty cool. Yo, alright guys, so I didn't want you to think I was going to do this sort of thing without actually testing it in game, and here we are. We are in game. We're currently on sus1. We're playing online, live server, as you can see. And we have a shelter up. We've got a flag up, buried in the rocks, which is great. We've got more storage around here. Big raid backpack, VSSK, some other bits and pieces, some nails, code lock. So yeah, we're sort of on day 2 of a run. Just hit that heli, got that VSSK off that, and the Ratnik armor, which is good. Didn't realise there was a heli that close, but yeah, I didn't want you guys to think I was doing this stuff in game without putting it into practice, or doing it out of game without putting it into practice itself. So there you go, that's another one for you. This is right at the heart of the map, you know, just to give you an idea. Here we are on the map now. As you can see, this is our base. right here, and we are literally Samara Grab, just in the quarry right here, which is awesome. It's a really good place on the map, right in the middle of the action, in the middle of everything here, close to the military. Yeah, decent. But anyway, there we go. So, welcome to Arsenova Summer Camp. It's pretty sweet. There's a couple of military barracks, which is really nice. You've got the lodge building. You've got lots of hunting gear to search through. You've got a water pump, which is great. You also have a hospital. So, good chance of finding a bunch of stuff here, and absolutely love the area. We're literally 400 meters from item number 3. So, we're here for number 4. Now, with the amount of gear you can physically get from Arsenova, depending what server you're on, whether it's community, official, or whatever, it's worth stashing in the lake here. People don't come to Arsenova to look at the lake. They don't come to fish in the lake. It's a heavy PvP area on most servers you get to, because Troit's Millie is literally just up the road. And this is the main cut through, and people will always check Arsenova first for gear, for loot, for weed seeds and stuff you find in the cabins. And this lake is absolutely perfect for stashes, guys. Okay, so from the top of the rock, you cannot see anything. It's all good. It's hidden. Like I said, no one's going to fish here. You might get someone having a cheeky fish here, I guess. They might have a cheeky fish here, but nowhere else. This is not used. It's not used for that purpose. People don't camp up around here. So down here, right inside the water, we have got 1 sea chest, 2 sea chests, and we've got a barrel. So we have got 350 slots of storage right here in the lake at one of the best loot areas. In my opinion, you're moving up to that tier 3 loot now. We've got Troit's Millie, which is half a kilometre up the road, literally no distance at all. And if I just fly out, absolutely perfect, and it is literally no distance. By the time we come down the road, we are there. I think it's like 800 meters away. It's really not far at all, and we're straight back at our stash. So if you imagine you've been looting, you're having a good time, you've got loads of gear together, and after doing the summer camp here at Arsenova, and after doing Troit's Millie, maybe Nagorno village as well, you've got a full backpack, full inventory, everything's full, and it's the perfect situation. You can literally come down here, stash all your gear, and then go back. And now, that isn't loot cycling, guys. That's called looting, okay? By the time you get back to Troit's from here, the distance from it, loot would have respawned. You're outside of that area. So you're not dropping stuff on, you're not being the arsehole, you're not being the bitch, doing loot cycling, dropping all the shit outside the buildings. You're literally looting for what you need. You're then bringing it back to your stash, stashing it here, right in the middle of things. That's 3 and 4, really close. Now, just to give you an idea of just how close we are already here, look. This is where the last one previous to this was. It's literally here in the quarry. This is no distance at all. Everything is on top of each other. Now you can see everything I'm doing here, like I said, I'm doing in game. Full stop. There's nothing else happening other than me being in game. So yeah, that is number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Now you might say, why is everything in water? The reason everything's in water, guys, is because it's the easiest way to hide stuff. Like, so far, anyway. This is definitely the easiest way to hide stuff. Now, most people go into playing DayZ, they'll go on a community server, they'll start looting up, they'll get all the building materials done and think, right, I want to upgrade my gun. They'll go and loot a military, they'll die, and they'll die with everything because they haven't made a stash, they haven't sorted their gear out first, whereas I go the opposite way. I look at getting a base or storage up first. That's the most important thing for me, because after doing 4 or 5 hours looting, your inventory is full. You need to depot that gear, and if you haven't got all the building materials yet, you need somewhere to go. So barrels, crates, sea chests, pretty much anything you can make, and most servers have got crafting options to make these. So you'll be absolutely fine. Right, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4 out of the way. Let's move on to number 5. Welcome to Biathlon Arena. This is a pretty cool place. On some servers, this is a helicopter trader. On others, it's normally a base location, or most actually. Normally this building here is taken up with bases. You've got garages here, so good bit of industrial loot, which always spawns. You've got Tricresta, literally just down the road. You've got Cinestock right here as well. And I absolutely love this location. This is really far north, so this is a great place to have a stash. Now, on 3 servers, 28 Days, Redemption, and Terminus, I had a stash here. So let's just go back into our character. Okay, hello. Right. So, Biathlon Arena. Great place. Now, I've had a stash here. Now, this stash is quite visible, but it's lasted 3 wipes, which is good. And I dropped back up to 28 days, and I've got a flag in this tree here on 28 days. Literally this tree here. And our stash is directly underneath here. You can see it, because you know what you're looking for. There's 4 wooden crates. Crouch down here, crawl underneath. We've got a spot similar to this in Severe, but this one's actually in the open. Now, I've stacked the crates up here. It just makes it a little bit harder to see, but these ones obviously are all empty. 28 days wiped, unfortunately, before I got a chance to get the video clip of it actually in game. But yeah, I mean, who's actually going to look under this bridge? Most people, they'll come Tricresta, they'll hit the single house up there, follow the track round, run straight across the bridge to Biathlon Arena. I hate this new zoom when you're running. What on earth are DayZ devs playing at, man? But anyway, yeah. If you're very unlucky, this will get found. But this is a really good location for early game. You know, even if you took 1 crate here, and that was it, that would be 50 slots. Or you want to make a stash before you go and hit up Biathlon Arena, the hunting cabins at the end. Just drop your backpack under here. It'll all work for you. Now, this might seem really open, but believe me, it hasn't been found, and it wasn't found. 3 servers I've done this on now, and it hasn't been found on any one of them during the entirety of the wipe. Now, this is why these videos take so long, because I do try and test everything first, because obviously one of my stash locations, if it gets found instantly, there's no point in telling you guys, and I'll get the same comments on this video that I get on the others. Well, it's all public now. That's all good, guys. You know, hopefully you guys realise there's a lot of DayZ servers out there. There's a lot. There's not 1 or 2. Now, all the servers that you play on are probably very different from the servers that I play on, for the most part. So it's pretty decent to have stashes in these northern locations where you're very close to Tricresta, you're very close to City, you're close to Cinestock, and Cinestock is actually where we are going next. Alright guys, welcome to Cinestock. Really close to City now, good place, water pump just here on the right. Get a lot of loot here, we're really ramping up the tiers where we're coming up here now. And if you've done the western loot route, or you've looted on the east coast, come across the top, you are going to be full as hell right now. You're not going to have any space to go to Tizzy Military at all, or anywhere else. So my next stash location is again in water. But this is sat here, I've only done this on 1 server, which was Terminus. This is sat here for the entirety of the wipe. Now, it doesn't work for placing objects, but you can drop objects. And they will last roughly 7 days. Unless you interact. If you interact, pick it up, drop it again, you'll be good. But people will walk across this bridge. It's understandable. It happens. But if you also run down next to it, you'll see it's got some depth to it. Now, if we take the same principles that we took up in the other one, you want to have some objects around it. So, the best place, in my opinion, to drop anything here is going to be this thick area of reeds, and this is exactly where we dropped them last time. Okay. Pick it up, drop off. Walk back towards, and then drop. Pick up. Make sure you're walking up against there, and drop. And we're directly underneath the footpath. Now, anyone running across is not going to be looking directly down. They're not going to be able to see it. You have to literally walk here and look directly down here to be able to see the 2 wooden crates, but you can access them quickly. Now, this is actually a really good stash, and this came in very, very handy on Terminus because I was actually in the middle of a fight with someone, and I had these 2 crates here, and I managed to just quickly drop my gear inside them while I stood on the bridge, run through, carry on a fight, and I actually died in the fight as well. So it worked out okay because I knew my stuff was stashed up, the important gear, the sellables, right here in the middle. And this paid me well for a whole wipe. I think I used the storage 3 times over the wipe. Once because I'd spawned at the coast. And my normal MO is, once I've got a stash or a base erected and it's up and it's sufficient for everything I need, I'll take all my gear off, I'll put it in the base, and I'll spawn out fresh on the coast and then do another run. So by the time I've done the western loot route, coming all the way up here, I'm full as hell, especially after Tricresta and hitting the summer camps and everything else. So yeah, this is a really good place to stash. This is prior to getting a base up. You'll be using a bit of a stash here just to make sure some building items or whatever else are safe for you when you want to continue. And we'll just put our shovel in there as well, so it's good to go. Nope. There we go. We're good to go. So yeah, barn, water, lake, footpath. And you cannot see it from anywhere. Now people might fish here, that's fine. Unless they physically stop right here and look down, you're not going to notice it. If you're running in third person and you're running over the bridge, you're not going to notice it. It's just not going to come up in your vision. So yeah, that's the next one for you guys. Hope you like that one. Or let me know what you think about Cinestock. It's one of my favourite places. I haven't built a base here yet, but I think we need to. What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments below. Okay guys, up to the next one. We are at Gorka. Really popular town, high PvP in this area. You see King of the Hills, key cards which are normally in the police station. We're really close to Kraz Airfield as well. We've got a military down the road. It's kind of a direct pass through for most areas if you're on the coast. And it's busy. We've got a hospital here as well. We've got a little shop which is normally good for 308 rifles and other bits and pieces depending what server you're playing on. And whether you're playing vanilla or highly modded. Now, as you come out of Gorka town, from the internal side, from the inland side, you follow the road down past the police station. You go past the single houses, past the industrial, past the farming units on the right, past the barn. Now, this one I had on Redemption and I had on Terminus, and they both lasted throughout the wipe. I think what we'll do is we're just going to come back to our body and then go from there. Okay, hi, how you doing? Alternative guy. Right, okay, so just come past the police station, everything comes to here, you come to this little track right here, follow this in towards this tall building. Electrical substation, whatever you want to call it. And you've got normally a wood pole here which you can cut for planks. A couple of industrial, not usually used as a base just because it's so open, it doesn't really work as it. And you've got some sheds here which will always be searched. And then you've got a couple of wheelie bins here, another one tip table with some sofas from the 70s, I remember those from my grandmother's house. And right behind here, we have a wooden crate. And it actually fits in really well if you stand and drop. Now, this lasted me, I had to replace it once because I think it despawned. I don't think it was taken because I checked it on day 6 and then I didn't get back to check it till about day 10 and it was gone. So I'm guessing because there's no flag, it had despawned. But either way, we are right here in this stash outside of Gorka. Now, if you've got a box you can drop here, you can go ahead and this is just before you get to Gorka town. You can go ahead and hit your key cards, you can pretty much hit whatever you want. and then you can drop 50 items in here, or you could put 3 or 4 crates there if you wanted to. You could put a sea chest here, you could put a barrel here. Nobody's got any particular reason to run through this one little bit here. And if you put in a barrel in, I'd really recommend just drop the barrel right here, literally right on top of the pile, so it ends up sitting at an angle so it doesn't look normal like storage. But yeah, I really like this little one here for stashes. It's in a rubbish pile, it's out of the way. I've used this, like I said, for a whole wipe. It only disappeared once, and I used to use it all the time to hit the key cards. So it's really not too far from the police station from here. And then you can hit the key cards. Your gear's safe. You've got 50 slots, which is generally your backpack, right? Or your trousers, your shirt, your vest, all your ammo, your explosives, whatever you're carrying with you. And you know, the police station's not far, and I used to hit all the key cards up from there. And yeah, you sort of, there you go, look, top of it there. So not far away, your gear's safe, and it's all good. And that is the next one out of the way for you guys. Okay guys, we are moving on to Vybor. So pretty much the center of the map. Now we're going to come through Vybor. We are going to come through and past the industrial estate. Now there was 3 locations here underneath me, and I think 1.20 actually fixed those locations. So I'm not going to tell you what's going on with those at the moment, but there is 3 locations within Vybor Industrial where you used to be able to have secure stashes that you could not even see with your eyes, even if you were stood right next to it. Unfortunately, I think 1.20 sorted that out, so we've got to come past here to the next location. Now this next location has never been found, ever, 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 ever. I've played this for 4 wipes. Now, as strange as it may seem, this bridge we just come over is on the way to Northwest Airfield, as you can see. Can't see anything, no, nothing here. This is very much like Severe from episode 1, guys. Now, if you saw Severe in episode 1, you'll know what I'm talking about. People generally don't run underneath this bridge. But if you come down to this bridge, crouch, come through this gap, still can't see anything, there you go. 3 stashes, 3 wooden crates, 150 slots. Essentially, your whole inventory can be put in here while you go off and loot Northwest Airfield, and it's going to be safe. So anything you found on your way up here, building supplies, key cards, explosives, grenades, claymores, just nice guns even, bash them here and you're good to go. Straight back out, straight at it. Not visible, not easily seen, can't see it from the side. If you're on those lovely TPP servers, you're not going to be able to see it just running past. There's no obvious stash here at all. And this is really on top. Look, even from here, nothing. This is really right on top of Northwest Airfield. If we just leave, this is Northwest Airfield. That's how close we are. Literally, back to the stash. This is how close we are to Northwest, how close we are to Vybor and everything else. What do you think about this location, guys? Let me know in the comments, and let's move on to the next one. Alright guys, we are in Berazino. Common spawn point on most maps. A good choice as well for when people want to spawn in. And where are we hiding? I don't know. Where are we hiding? Maybe right here. Correct, guys. This place here, I've got 2 crates, one on top of each other. They have been here for, I would like to say, I've replaced these and put these here for maybe 3 wipes. It might only be 2, don't quote me on this. This is the middle silo up this ladder, right in Berazino. Now, this does not spawn loot. No loot spawns on these, and 99.99% of players that don't just play on the mouse, because players that only play the mouse, then come on Chernaroos, may find these. But other than that, I haven't lost them yet once. Now, when I spawned in and I've looted Berazino, I've always used these. You can generally find a box of nails in Berazino. There's so much stuff here. You can find a saw, you can find a hatchet, you can make a couple of crates. Generally, once I've looted the whole of Berazino, I will stash those in these crates here. Let's just drop back into my character. And we've got 100 slots here, which is pretty much your whole inventory when you're fresh-ish. And you're good to go. Now, nobody is going to find these guys. I can guarantee that, because mine haven't been found. But then again, I don't know what servers you guys play on. No doubt all these spots now on the servers I've mentioned will disappear. But this one should be good, especially officials. I've used this on officials. I only had one crate because I only managed to find basic supplies. And I actually had to run back to Berazino from Gorka, to be fair, with a box of nails to come and put a couple of crates here, which I did. In fact, I think I only put one crate here. And I managed to store 2 key cards in one crate as well on Terminus, and they stayed there for a week. But officials, I generally keep a bit of food and stuff in here, so that way, if you spawn here at Berazino on the beach or whatever server you're playing on, you can come here straight up to your crate, find some food, find maybe a plate carrier in a second crate, maybe a KA-74 with a couple of mags. Just have a little stash here by the coast, so you're good to go if you're getting raided or whatever and you need to spawn at the coast, and you've got a little stash here right there by the coast, and it's kind of out of the way. Don't knock this, guys. Elevation always works, especially in a place like this where people aren't going to bother coming up here on the spawn town. They're just not going to bother. Boom. Right, let's move to the next. Yo guys, welcome to Biathlon Airfield. Gotta love Biathlon Airfield, one of my favourite places, especially when you're refreshing and you're coming in, you can pick up that decent bit of loot you want. Maybe some ammo, normally just a pistol or a Bison or something, but it's enough to get you through the opening stages of spawning in on a fresh life. Plenty of military areas to loot, and there's one little stash point here which I love, and I've used it only for one wipe so far. Somebody actually mentioned it to me on a Twitter DM, and I thought, let's have a look. And there's one particular place, if you stand... Where are we anyway? I'm here, hi. Hello, future sus. Okay, so here we are. Now, you can see the crate from here. But there's one place, if you stand here on this particular dirt pile and drop a wooden crate, it actually falls through the chair. It's the only place with all this stuff here where it becomes part of the pile rather than sitting on top of the pile. Now, you'd be forgiven for running straight past that because you're not going to see it. Most people coming from the direction are going to be running through here, come over to the first tents, you're going to run straight past, you're going to be concentrated here and looking for zombies around as you run up to it, or looking for other players, potentially in the camo. You are not going to be looking in this pile of dirt where it's sitting half underneath a chair. Now, this is pretty good. If you've come into Chernobyl, you found some basic building supplies, you've made your first stash here with your wooden crate, before you go into the airfield, you're probably dropping a bunch of food in here and some basics that you'd be starting the game with. This I love, and you know, I've only had this for one wipe, but it's been there. I had to replace it after 10 days, so I'm guessing it despawned, but when I checked on it periodically and then picked it up, dropped it, picked it up, dropped it, it stayed for the rest of the wipe, which was 2 weeks just over, I think. So this has not been immensely tried and tested, but this has been tried and tested by me for a little short while. And as you can see, it's pretty well hidden. It looks like it's just part of the pile. Doesn't really stand out, stick out, or anything else. It's at a nice discreet angle. It's not just a square flat box sitting there, but if you drop it on top of this chair, if you essentially stand on a chair and drop it on it, it then sinks through the chair like that. Now, what do you guys think about this one? All the way down at below. Let me know in the comments. Now let's move on to the next one. Just spawned in at Menka, down on the south coast, because we've been raided. And we're at the spawn site, which is normally on this pier at Menka. Got these industrial sheds here, a little outpost. Sometimes find like plate carriers in there, which is cool, or a little pistol mag or pistol. So this next one's right on the spawn, and this is the reason I put this here. And this lasted all the way through Terminus. Now the reason I did this on Terminus was food. Strictly food, that was it, no other reason, because Terminus, you struggle for food, especially when you're fresh spawn. So, come off the pier, come around, and we've got one on us, we'll do it. You walk between the pier, and walk down the slope, you can see the crates under my feet there, and then we drop crates. We've got 3 crates here. I only had 1 crate here before, in which I just used to keep food and a weapon. I used to keep a KA-74 with some food here, right by the spawn, literally. And you know, you'd struggle to find this. If you stood exactly here, you'd find it. There's no other way you would find this at all. You can't see over. There's nothing showing. That's all. And this stash point, it's worked so well for me. Especially getting killed a couple of times in fights, being able to spawn back in straight off the bat, grab food, grab a water bottle, which I had in there, grab some ammo, and we're good to go. And this is a great little place, really close to Military Island as well. So if you just come off Prison Island and you come down here, especially if you loot it and you've got a stash here, you can just top it up with whatever you've just taken off there, blah blah blah, and you're good to go. And you can carry on down, loot the town here without worrying about losing your gear, head down to the military, loot back if you're going that way to drop off gear, pick up gear, whatever, and you are good to go. So that's another coastal one for you guys. I hope you like this one. I really like this one. Don't knock it because it's in the open. This is so well hidden like you would not believe. It's crazily well hidden. Love it here. Absolutely love it here. Right, let's move on to the next one. Hey guys, welcome to the next one. We are in Electro. Right down on the coast. Single military tent. And you're going to run through Electro and keep going. Let me just speed up. You're going to keep going until you get to the docks. When you get to the docks, we're going to find me stood on a crane. Hello. How you doing, sus? You good? Are you good? Right. Now this works on any crane. Now this is the particular one that I have used, and I've used this on 2 wipes. I'm not going to say what server though, because I still use these on a crane somewhere on the map. That is all I'm saying, guys. I'm not going to say where. So you come up the crane as you normally would. This is quite a good one. I like this one a lot, because people just do not find it, full stop. You're going to look for loot, nothing's going to be here. You're going to come up to the next level, no loot on there. You're going to see no loot here. Damn, what's going on? And hello, what is that? No one comes up and does their inventory on the ladder. But trust me, this is incredibly well hidden. And unless you actually do this, you're not going to have a clue, because you're going to come up, you're going to search here, check on something here, and it will mainly be the mouse players that will do this. Normal players won't do that. They'll come up to there, they'll get on the ladder, they'll do that, see nothing on there, and they'll go. That'll be it, job done. Players generally will not go up to the top level. Sorry, my phone. They will generally not go up to the top level. They're not going to jump over here, and they're not going to find this crate here. Now, try this out, guys. Trust me when I tell you, I use this. I use this all the time. On many areas, many cranes. I'm not going to tell you what server though. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Whee! There we go. Why did I just go wee like I'm 5? I'm a grown man. Anyway, let's move over to the next one, which is only here at the lighthouse. I'll fast forward, don't worry guys. Now, the chances are someone will come and run on here, because lighthouses are a good spawn for shotguns, rifles, and other things like shells, ammo, etc. Maybe a mag. So somebody may run up to the lighthouse, and that'll be about it. When you come past the lighthouse, down to the beach, pretty much no visibility for anyone. Run around the corner here, and you've got a nice flat open bit of ground where you can't even see the top of the lighthouse. It's not even visible. Now this is the important thing for me. It wasn't visible from the lighthouse. So we have a bunch of sea chests. We've got a tent here as well. Put a camo net in there. Bunch of sea chests, or a couple of sea chests, couple of wooden crates, 3 of them. We've got a tent, we've got storage. This is all here, so we don't need a base. Now, if you put a flag here, the flagpole can be seen. That's the problem you have. If somebody decides to investigate from the lighthouse, walk around the top, they will see a flagpole sticking out of here. This is a temporary stash, guys. This is a stash you're going to visit within 7 days of being on the server. You're going to come down to it, and what you're going to do to stop it despawning is essentially pick items up, move them 3 or 4 foot, drop them again. Keep going until you've done that with every single item, and then you've basically got another 7 days and it will not despawn. And as long as you come back and interact with that stuff, you're good to go. And you are miles from anywhere here. No one is going to see this. This is for solo players that are being sneaky bastards like I am, that want to have good stashes around the map without having to build a massive base. Why do I need to build a massive base when I've got this stash here, which nobody's going to come here? It's impossible. And this has stayed through wipes. That's all I'm going to say. It's stayed through wipes. Dragon Island with the lighthouse, and then we've got our other stash right over there. Alright guys, I was going to carry on with this. I've got about 20 more I want to go through, but I didn't even realise how long the video was getting to. We're at 40 minutes. Holy shit, I'm sorry about that. So listen, part 3 of this is going to be bases. So I feel we've covered stashes very well on part 1 and part 2, and I'm still working on some stashes. I've got 3 absolute fire ones, which haven't proved themselves yet, but I'm in the process of proving them now. Anyway, the next episode is going to be bases. So we're going to look at starting with vanilla bases on the next episode. Then we're going to go to expansion bases. Then we're going to go to base building plus bases. The best bases we can make when we're new on the server. We've got the basics and we want to get secure quick. Anyway, I'll catch you guys on that one. That's going to be a little while off, several weeks off, because everything I do has got to be tried and tested, as I've told you before. Anyway, guys, thanks very much. If you've hung out this long, you're an absolute bloody legend, and I love you. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment underneath, all that good stuff, just to help support the channels. And I'll see you on the next one. Take care.